Hi everybody! In this video we want to have a look at the light and dark sound. Some of you asked me specifically about the difference between light and dark, so let's have a look at this. So what is this all about? Because so far I have just referred to the sound as without saying it's light or dark. So first of all, let's remind ourselves. Is a lateral, and you can see the symbol from the IPA here. It's a lateral sound, but to be a little bit more specific, it is a voiced, alveolar, lateral approximant. Voiced because we use our vocal cords to produce the sound. Alveolar because the tip of our tongue touches the little bump just behind our teeth, and this is called the alveolar ridge. So voiced, alveolar, lateral. And approximant, this is a bit of a funny word. That really means that the articulators in the vocal tract become narrow, but not so narrow that we can hear air friction or air turbulence. So that is what an approximant is. So that is the L sound in general, and sometimes you will also hear it being called a sonorant, and that just means that it has a quite resonant quality to it. There are a couple of other sounds that are also called sonorants, but fricatives and plosives, for example, are very different in that way. So that is our lateral L. Now, we can differentiate in most English varieties between a light and a dark L. Now this might sound a little bit strange. Light and dark makes you think of science fiction. No, this really has something to do with the quality of the sound. So the dark L is a little bit different because we say it is velarized, whereas the light L is not velarized, so non-velarized. Sometimes we also call it clear L. So you might hear any of those descriptions. But what does that really mean? Velarized means that has something to do with the velum, and that is a specific place in our vocal tract. And I've put a diagram on the slide so you can see it. So you can see the vocal tract, you can see the tongue, and the arrow points to the velum. It's in the back of the throat, it's quite soft, and it's on the top of the roof of the mouth, really. And velarized means that the back of our tongue rises towards the velum. So this also happens in a couple of other sounds, but the dark L really means it's velarized and that the position of our tongue is different compared to the light L. Now it's all very theoretical, so I suggest we have a look at a couple of examples. Let's have a look at the light L first, because to be honest, I think this is a little bit easier. So the light L sound always occurs before the vowel or the diphthong in a syllable. So it's always at the start of the syllable. Here are some examples. I'm sure you know these words. Let's practice saying them. And while I say them, I want you to repeat, and I want you to notice the position of your tongue. Like, love, learn, live, leave. So here the L, the light L, is at the start of the word, but also the start of the syllable. All these words only have one syllable. Let's have a look at the words in the second column. Here we have a consonant first, another consonant, and then the L, our lateral. But actually it is still a light L because the vowel only comes afterwards. Let's listen. Clear, fly, blue, plan, glamour. Glamour is the only word that has two syllables, and here we still have the L appearing before the first vowel sound in the first syllable, glamour. So it appears before the So hopefully while you said them, you notice the position and the height of your tongue, especially the back of your tongue. Let's practice again with the first two words. Like, love. And maybe just drag the sound a little bit longer. Like, love. And really focus on the back of your tongue and the position, because we want to compare it now to the dark because the position is different. So the dark what about that one now? So this one comes after a vowel or diphthong in a syllable. So the position is different. It's not at the start, it's after the vowel in the syllable. And here is an example word now. Pull. We have p, o, l. Pull. And again, I encourage you to say it slowly and focus on the place of your tongue. Pull. So after we said the vowel O, our tongue needs to rise now. Pull, ul, ul. And it rises towards the velum in the back of your vocal tract. And the quality is different to the light L that we just practiced and had. Now, the back of the tongue rises to the velum. Let's practice with a few more examples, because I think you can hear and feel the difference quite clearly now. Tell, feel, goal, pill, dull. And the second column, ball, dial, male, pearl, real. I often have the impression that for students, this L, the dark L, is a little bit more difficult to say. And that is usually because we had a vowel sound just before in the same syllable, and so our tongue was in a different position and now needs to move to get ready to say "u." And what happens is usually this movement towards the velum in the back can be heard. So it really creates a slightly different sound compared to the "u" when it's in the starting position. So here are the examples again, and I just wanted to show you that we had a range of different vowel sounds in these example words. So in tell we had an e, in feel it was a long e, then goal we had a diphthong o, and then pill, dull, etc. You can have a look at it. Lots of different vowel sounds. Some of them are single vowels, monophthongs, others are diphthongs, double vowel sounds, and they're all followed by u, and that creates a dark u, really because of this preceding vowel sound. So I'll say it once more. I would encourage you to repeat after me and really again notice the difference in sound and the physicality, the position of your tongue. Tell, feel, goal, pill, dull. And the second column, ball, dial, male, pearl, real. Very good. Now let's have a look at them again side by side. So we have a light L first in leaf, leaf, and a dark L in the second word, feel, feel. Leaf, leaf, feel, feel. So I think it's quite obvious, and for me it's a mix. I can hear a difference, but I can also really feel a difference because I think the tongue is in a very different position. Hopefully for you it was obvious as well. Now, there's something important to remember though. The light and dark are still just one phoneme in English. And what does that mean? That means, number one, there's only one IPA sound symbol, the which is probably why you hadn't maybe heard of the dark and light before, because really it's one phoneme, there's just one symbol. And if you really want to transcribe something and you want to show the difference between light and dark, there isn't a different symbol. We just use this little wiggly line and we cross the and that means it's velarized and it is a dark This really is only done, and it's only really important if you have to compose a very, very specific transcription. But you will notice in most dictionaries, they don't use this little symbol. It's just one symbol. And that is really because there is no difference in meaning in English between the light and the dark. It wouldn't matter if you said the one or the other, because there's not a single pair of words where there's a difference in meaning between the dark and the light. So this is really important to remember. If you couldn't hear a difference, or you feel like, I'm not sure I'm saying this or pronouncing this correctly, don't worry. There is no difference in meaning. Most of the time, you will get it right anyway, because it's a natural process. Because if you said a vowel before, then naturally your tongue has to make some movement to get to the position of the, and you don't need to think about this. It will naturally sound different to a light l. So don't worry too much about it. But some of you asked me, so we're talking about it now. But the main difference really is that you have to remember that l is not the same as r. And from my experience teaching for many years, the majority of students struggle with l and r, and they mix them up and they say one for the other. And there are many minimal pairs for those two sounds. So don't worry too much about the dark and the light l, but make sure that your l is different to your r. And if you want to learn more about the r, make sure to check out my other video on that. Now it's time for a little pronunciation practice. Let's listen and repeat. First of all, we're going to practice the light l. Leah likes to laugh. Leah likes to laugh. Lewis lives in London, but Larry left for Lisbon. Lewis lives in London, but Larry left for Lisbon. Lots of blue lilies grow in this land. Lots of blue lilies grow in this land. And next we're going to practice the dark l. Listen and repeat. Tell Ellie to help Molly. Tell Ellie to help Molly. The ball rolled into the goal. The ball rolled into the goal. Carl feels ill and needs a pill. Carl feels ill and needs a pill.